as free and see myself as one of the freest beings on earth. I was born free, I was born good, and I was born chosen. Birth is a privilege that touches us all. I take the mission of freedom seriously and strive to maintain it. I refuse spoon-fed information by forming my own connections and conclusions, researching them so the concepts are fathomable. My ideas do not need to be forced to fit neatly like beads strung on a wire. The freedom to create a whole and precise artwork makes these times bearable. I assume this is my role. We are told that the truth will set us free. The truth is made to be frightening. We must never ever forget, confusion is a weapon. When I was a young adult, I longed to be free like a tumbleweed. The tiny shrub doesn't grow upright, it grows crooked as it follows the sun. With age, the tumbleweed becomes unhitched from earth. It begins to wander by rolling and hovering above the land on currents of air. Wind creates a course filled with both speed and stillness. The tumbleweed appears in film, mostly blowing by in the background to denote isolation or an awkward silence. My tumbleweed is set in a dusty pink color, red earth gone pale. There is a fence hidden and ghost-like. Me, as the tumbleweed, attempts to pass through the obstruction. For years I've wondered if I could do it, set myself free. And now, each minute, I wonder if I have. Have I surrendered being beholden to anything but trust in my own ideas? Have I let go of the things prescribed socially, culturally, politically? Am I a free spirit? A floating organism void of outside influence? Have I done it? Am I free? Once a woman visiting my studio said that I wasn't definite enough about an idea I was working on. The remark was not meant as a condition of my indecisiveness, but rather that my maneuvering lacked conviction. In all my determination to be a free human, I questioned if I had gone too far. Perhaps letting my thoughts flow patiently is not what people long for in an artist. Instead, firm absolutes must be desired, like printed pamphlets left indoors or handed out on street corners. Letting nature take its course in one's artwork doesn't mean that an intention is lost to wishful thinking. There is still a map, but one without a predetermined route. A passage that emerges from unexpected pieces that fall about one's steps. Truth requires disruption. A direction, though, jagged, forms over time. Being in tune with nature and allowing things to be takes discipline. The most valuable tool for aligning myself on a pure path has been disappointment, contending with doubt. Incorporating this into the process of making art takes courage. I respond with navigation rather than control. With practice, serendipity becomes noticeable and intuition is strengthened. But not once did we see tumbleweed blowing free. The tumbleweeds were stuck. The wind crushed them against fences and held them there. Today, nature can't have its way due to all the fences crisscrossing the landscape. When I got out of the car to inspect the tumbleweed, I saw tangled branches as a rib cage. Along its journey, the tumbleweed picks stuff up, trapping these souvenirs inside like a chest cavity. Whatever it comes in contact with, it absorbed. I saw old bits of dirty plastic, dried wrappers, and worn fiber. The entire contents were indigestible consumer waste. My disappointment is paramount. Freedom too often is an illusion. Perhaps God's freedom is as challenged as the tumbleweeds. God could be stuck in the Milky Way, hung up on a wrong turn. Maybe God got confused in his own concept. Maybe he's waiting for a new idea to arise from all this disappointment. He is the ultimate artist. It would only make sense that he hit a rough patch, those dry spells where you beat yourself up and question your ideas and purpose. In order to start a religion, one only needs to have a fantastic idea, charisma, and a printing press. Printed literature promotes belief, reasoning, and goals of a uniquely named rendition of an ever-present history. History is summed up the same way. We have named cultural movements linearly, each melting seamlessly to form the next. Our existence is explained in a neat progression of easy-to-grasp steps. It is comforting to be so certain and trusting. Manufactured information can be a double-edged sword, especially when it becomes a deterrent to exploration. Just as sheets of ice move to shape a canyon, rubbing it smooth to conceal fissures, cracks, crevices deep within, our existence is based on the connections seen on the surface. There isn't much excitement to debate the finer details beneath. Gone are the awkward, hard-to-reach, messy parts. Yet with globalization, our simply defined eras are now nip at our heels, begging some of us to fall and reassess where we have run from. Portions of our past, those that cause us to cringe or disarm us of our identity, are poking through. The artist can shape and expose a philosophy through years of work. Art can tell an epic tale, clever entry points into the rarely seen hidden parts constructively challenge humanity's journey. Mostly, art asks questions, but art can provide answers too. Potential for enlightenment for the maker and viewer exists simply by providing an experience that radiates. Faith is not needed. Imagination is the ticket to progress. The hope is that we can see who we are and jump off the conveyor belt where we continually rerun what has been put in place. The humanities, language of the arts, massages our mind and makes us aware of how life can be. Creativity is the key to evolving. Art can hold exclusively or not through gibberish or clarity. While exploring gray areas, artists rarely announce the existence of chosen ones and those deemed to perish. The danger of apathy masquerading as spirituality draws the weak. Creativity is our opportunity to be free. You will not find me on the fence. I'm not on one side or the other. There is no fence. Surprisingly, the road of least resistance requires this type of melting. The whole space is one, fused together as a collaborative highland. A myriad of creative beings throughout history reside here. In this openness, content is shared. A frontier of transcendence where the meeting of edges become outlets of truth. When did make-believe become something pretend? At one point, we can become full. Our empty parts fill just like a sponge soaks water. The space is taken up. A worldly orientation or a universal view can seep in. The expression full of shit comes to mind when trash is collected. Or living life to the fullest when people turn into users and recipients, focusing on their immediate needs. Then there are the elevated manners, full of grace, a hold on the heavens, lasso the moon, pocket full of stars, and take in the sun, that are all productive activity. When creativity takes center stage, ideas come forth like an exploding deck of cards, and hope is no longer an emotion, but an action. We have arrived at this battle of space. As an artist, it is my role to usher in fresh, out of this world floodwaters. Not boisterous. The depth of my cavity casts a shadow, a curious contrast that attracts some. The bowl balances high on skinny stilts like a heavy sunflower jets up on the swaying stem. The juvenile stage of levitation is precarious. I've been full for quite some time. To fill up, a session of stillness and solitude is needed. Private time can be self-induced or cast upon us in a tragic circumstance. The shedding of tears seems to be connected. My only concern in this life is what I am to do next. With the swollen contents of a belly, it is only natural that regurgitation follows. Sometimes when I go into an immense store, I imagine throwing up in the aisle because the workers can be so kind. They would come running not only to clean up, but someone want to listen to what I have to say. And then I would lean in to learn why. They would lean in to learn why I've been sick to my stomach. Sometimes I imagine climbing the shelves to the top and speaking from up there. I go further and dream that those listening are brought to tears. Water dropping from their eyes cause them to levitate. This sounds like the antics and thoughts of a crazy person on the street corner holding a sign of passing out printed literature. I hold tight to the existence of miracles. My imagination contributes to the potential of them. In the openness, contents are shared. Just as there is no fence, there is no lid.